Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. And today we are discussing a Maryland real estate market update with data from the Maryland Association of Realtors, data for the month of May here in 2023. So every month I like to hop on here and just give you guys some of the data that is released from our Maryland Association of Realtors to give you a little bit of insight of exactly what is happening here in our market. Now, there is not a ton of difference or change from the last few months of data that has been released from the Association of Realtors. But I am going to go through that data again, just to give you a snapshot of exactly what we're looking at. So prices are continuing to hold. We're still seeing a little bit of appreciation in our market. And I wanted to kind of go over a few reasons as to why that is. So when I kind of look at things, I always have to remind myself, especially coming out of COVID, when we were looking at the stock market having, the Dow was having 1,000-point swings on various days. Things were happening very quickly in the stock market. And I always have to remind myself that in real estate, things happen very slowly and that they don't happen like how things happen in the stock market. So will things change in the real estate market eventually? I'm sure things always change. Nothing stays the same forever. But for now, I always have to remind myself about how slowly things can change in the real estate market and how different it is from the stock market. So there's a few things when I look at pricing, right? So I'm looking at pricing, I'm like, all right, what are kind of pressures or prospective pressures on prices going up, prices going down? What does that look like? So when I look at things right now, there's just more, pressure on pricing kind of stabilizing or even going up a little bit versus, more pressures, on prices going down, at least in the short term. So there's a few things that I'm looking at. Interest rates. Interest rates are continuing to be stubborn and kind of holding near 7. So looking at a 30-year conventional right now, the average rate right now is about 6.9. So that's very challenging for people when they look at listing their home and kind of going through the whole expense of moving. It's just hard for a lot of people to do that. So that's continuing to suppress inventory and keep inventory levels low. When you look at government loans are your VA loans. And your FHA or HUD is basically FHA, those loans. So you're looking at about a 6.65 interest rate on a 30-year FHA or VA mortgage right now. So still pretty high when we compare to 12 to 18 months ago when rates were, roughly around 3, high 2s. So just a big difference when it continues to be more and more expensive for people to consider listing their homes, selling, and then making those purchases. The next thing, which I already kind of referenced, is the low inventory. And a lot of this is driven by what I've kind of mentioned in the previous videos is our sales decline. So I'm going to get to this in a moment, but Maryland as a whole, we're down 25% year over year from this time last year in 2022 to today. So 25% less people are transacting in real estate, which is just continuing to cause this low inventory and create kind of all this competition that we're continuing to see in our real estate market here in Maryland. And then the next thing I like to look at is, how can we get more inventory, right? How can we kind of increase supply to kind of level things out on the supply front? And a big portion of that for, most markets is new construction. What does their new construction market look like? Maryland, we have a little bit. And when I'm kind of always focusing here on Central Maryland for the most part, because that's kind of where I'm at and where a lot of our people are coming to who are following this channel. There is some new construction, but not a ton. It's a very established marketplace. It's a very established real estate market. There's just not a ton of dirt to build new homes and to build a lot of new homes. So when we look at that front, as far as new homes that are going to come on the market, there's going to be a little, but there's not going to be very many. So we're going to rely heavily on resale, people listing their existing homes. And so that's just kind of one less thing that we have here in our local Maryland market to count on when it comes for looking down the road and kind of new supply to kind of help this inventory crunch out. And new construction is not going to be, there's not a huge opportunity for that. So there definitely is in parts of Maryland, but it's kind of on, the outskirts. It's kind of expanding further away from the kind of the Baltimore, DC area, the Central Maryland, Fort Meade and all the areas that people want to be. So there's just not going to be a massive amount of new construction. So for those reasons, I'm looking at all those reasons and those are kind of things that I'm looking at where, okay, those are more, sided towards holding values and slightly even increasing values versus putting pressure on prices going down. So at least for the short term, nothing lasts forever. It's impossible to predict this stuff, but those are kind of things that I'm looking at when we're looking at pricing and kind of trying to guess, and kind of, look at where things are going in the short term. Those are definitely things I'm focusing on right now. All right, so as discussed, we're going to go over the numbers for Maryland as a whole here. So we've got units sold year over year down 24.2%, almost 25%. So that's, a big factor of continuing to keep inventory low. And there's just, there's just enough demand, more than enough demand to meet the current supply that's out there. We've got an average price in the state of Maryland up 0.5%. And then we've got a median price across the board in Maryland up 1.5% year over year from this time last year in 2022. So, values up a hair when compared to last year. And then jumping into our local markets. So you've got Anne Arundel County, you've got volume decline down 30%. So, that's a big number. And Anne Arundel County's been kind of on the bigger side when comparing, other counties. So I've noticed that from months previous as well. You got average sales price in Anne Arundel County jumping up 6.2%, and the median sales price in Anne Arundel County jumping up 6.4%. And you've got months of inventory at 1.0, so 1 month of inventory. So very, very much a seller's market. And the median days on market, 5 days. So homes are not lasting very long in Anne Arundel County. Baltimore County, you've got volume of sales down 18.2%. You've got the average sales price in Baltimore County up 6%, and the median sales price up 2.2%. And you've got the same as Anne Arundel County, 1 month of inventory, and then the average, the median number of days for properties in Baltimore County is 6. So same thing, not lasting very long. And then we're going to jump a little east into Howard County. We've got units sold down 29%. The average sales price in Howard County up 2.2%. And the median sales price up 2.3%. Months of inventory is very low at 0.8. So under 1 month of inventory, which means homes are just flying off the shelf in Howard County. And then 6 is the number of the day for days on market, and Howard County is the same at 6 days on market for the median days that it takes to sell a home. And then Montgomery County, units sold is down 25.5%. The average sales price actually dropped 2%, and the median sales price down 1.6%. Months of inventory is a hair under 1 at 0.9. And then 6 days on the market for Montgomery County as well. So Montgomery County still things flying very quickly, but just a slight decrease in pricing in Montgomery County. All right, everyone, that is a snapshot of what's going on here in our Maryland market. If you ever have any questions about the real estate market, if you are considering whether purchasing or selling a home here in Maryland is the right move for you, we absolutely love having conversations about that and seeing how we can best assist. So however you feel most comfortable reaching out, please feel free to do so anytime, and we will see you at the next video.